Alright, cool. Hey guys, this is G-Rec, and I'm going to be doing some pixel art for you tonight. What I've got lined out is a large enemy sprite to show you. And basically, we're just going to kind of have a drawing session. I don't really want to call this a tutorial so much as I'm going to show you the way I draw, and maybe my method will help you out, maybe it'll give you some new ideas. Who knows? We'll see. So we're going to be using the OHR RPG CE for this. This tutorial drawing session. Oh yeah, we'll call it a tutorial. Let's not lie, it's a tutorial. This is mainly focused towards new OHR users. People who have just found the program, or maybe they're just now messing around with it. Ways that can help you draw better graphics. I'm going to teach you some tricks about laying out your stuff and everything else. So what I've got picked out is a sprite for the video game I'm working on right now, which is First Fantasy. And if you haven't played it, the setting is sort of a fantasized version of the Stone Age, pretty much. So think cavemen, things like that. And what I've got here is what's called a Glyptodon. And a Glyptodon is a giant prehistoric armadillo. So what I'm going to do with this guy is, now that I've found a picture of him, I'm going to kind of just come up with a concept for him. So since he's going to be an enemy, he's going to be in the battle, one thing that you need to remember is that you don't want him to end up as just a button masher. So let's give him an idea. Alright? Based on the way he looks, he's got all this armor, he looks, big and tough. I'm going to say he's a tank. So if I was making this video game, which I am, I'm going to give him a lot of hit points, give him some good defense, make him a tough guy to fight. Now, we don't want to just stop there. See, a problem with turn-based games is they're not fun if you're doing just pressing the spacebar the entire time. So let's add a little bit more dimension to him when you're actually designing the enemy. We'll have him roll up into a ball, and maybe like when he's in this ball, he'll take hardly any damage, and if you do hit him, he'll just get pissed off when he comes out, and he'll hit you for some extra damage. So just kind of a hint there to add some more depth to your battles, which is one thing I really need to work on. But that is kind of beside the point. We're mainly focused on drawing this time, not just monster design. So here's what we're going to do. Let's start up a new large enemy in custom, and we'll create a new palette. I think I'm on 55. Okay. So a couple tips real quick. Whenever you start up a new sprite, especially a new palette, here's the way I've started arranging them. And I'm borrowing this method mainly from Fenrir the Norris. If you'll open Vikings, he does this also. Take a nice, bright, big, ugly pink, just like this, and so make it your background. The reason you want to do this is because here in a bit we're going to be making some black lines, pretty much, and there's a lot more contrast between that and the base color. Okay, so you can see it better. And also, this pink, unless you're making like a super cotton candy and fairies kind of game, it's probably going to clash with every other color you have in the game. So make the pink there for contrast and make it your background. Second, I'm going to make a really dark, almost black color. I don't want to make straight black like right up here. I'm going to pick out this really, really dark blue. The reason being is because black makes things look flat. And with this graphic, well, with the majority of your graphics, we don't want them to look flat. We want them to kind of pop off the screen and make the player go, "Oh, that's cool!" Okay, don't make it black. It's just kind of ugly and unattractive. And I've had a real bad habit of doing that lately with some of my sprites that I've done. But I'm starting how to use black lines now, to learn how. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We've got our black picked out, and I'll go ahead and put a white here. This is just a force of habit. If you'll look, I always do this. See? Ugly pink, then a dark black, then white. Okay. So let's take a look at our critter here. Good old Glyptodon. Alright. One thing I can already tell you is this guy is so wide we're not going to be able to fit them in one sprite frame and have enough space to include all this detail in here. So let's split them up into 2 separate frames, and then we actually make him an enemy in the battle formation editor. We're going to have 3 enemies, pardon me. 2 enemies will be the front and back half of this giant armadillo, and then the third one will be the thing you actually fight, but we'll get to that later. It'll be transparent too. It pretty much will be non-graphic. Click. So we're going to divide this guy up. Now we'll do what's called line art. Line art is basically just laying out the general shapes of whatever it is you're going to draw. Alright? So I'm going to start kind of in the middle, way up high, so I'll have space for the legs. I'll just draw the shape of a shell. It does not have to be perfect. It's line art. You're just kind of laying things out. You can, mess with it, alter it, hit it the way you want it to go. Okay? I'm going to curve up there. See, the shell isn't just round. Curves up there. Then we're going to make some space for the head. That's actually not the shape the head makes. Let's start from the bottom. Do something kind of like that. And then some space for the body. See, he's almost like a furry turtle. There we go. Space for the feet. Very bad feet. But, line art. Doesn't have to be perfect. Alright, just get a general shape. Now, because I'm drawing on a video and trying not to lose your attention, I just drew that really fast. So here's what we'll actually do. You didn't see all that. Okay. We will go to this. This is some line art I actually took some time in creating. I went through, I laid out all the shapes and stuff. You can start to see, okay, this is the shell, here's kind of the body, here's the face and the feet and all that. And so your next step would be to do this. We're going to go through and we're going to pick out our colors. If you're going off your own sketch, you can, I guess, pick your own colors. But since we're going off this picture, I think these colors work really well. They look realistic. And so I'm going to try to match these colors as best as I can to those up here. So let's take a look at them. Especially, one thing you don't want to do is look at it and go, oh, those are gray, and then come here and just make a bunch of grays. Well, these aren't gray. These are like a really light tan with some red shades and some greens mixed in. But overall, it's mostly a tan shade, I think. Maybe like a really light olive, but you don't have those colors very well in here though to mix. I think the best thing to do would be to go with 4 shades right in here. Now, you don't have to use 4 in every piece of work you make. In fact, usually you can get by doing a lot with just 3 or even 2 colors. If you use 3, that'll give you a base color and then a shade for it and a tint for it. If you use 2, you have just a shade and a tint. But we're going to use 4 because there are so many different color changes in here. There's a lot of detail on this. So we're going to go ahead and use 4 to kind of pull out all those shades. But right now all I'm going to focus on is kind of filling up the general direction of where those colors are going to be used, the general shades we're going to use. So fill right there, and then we'll pick out a color for the hair real quick, the fur. Okay, sort of these lighter kind of brown, beaver furish, stiff. Boom, boom. That's probably a little too orange for my taste. We'll see how those colors work. Remember, you can always fix the colors. You can always change your palette.